Rudiments, take 5, 3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone, my name is Jack Bell. I worked as principal percussionist with the Atlanta Symphony for 32 years, and I was head of the percussion division and an associate professor at Georgia State University for 35 years. In this particular study, I would like to take you through the rudiments in the way that I've learned them, which might be a little bit different than you've had them presented to you in the past. I'll start, though, with the 4 primary rudiments. The single stroke roll, of course, being the first one. I believe in the single stroke roll because I think it's the most primary sound in all of drumming and all of percussion. I'll demonstrate it now, and then I'll give you a few ways to practice it to build your own technique in it. Here's the sound of the single stroke roll at a moderate tempo. So when I played that single stroke roll, I tried to keep my shoulders very relaxed. I tried not to let there be any tension coming down to my elbows or through my forearms or even into my wrist or my fingers, so that the sticks felt like they were just floating in my hand. So I want to do a demonstration of the single stroke roll that lasts about a minute, and I'm going to start slow, and then I'll move fast, gradually, and then I'll back out of it, coming back slow again. And that's a good technique for you to work on, both mentally and to control your hands, moving from all the ways that your wrist might be asked to articulate when you're playing something like the single stroke roll. So, here we go. Slow to fast, and then back to slow again. The spacing of controlling that single stroke roll so that when you reach the halfway point, you might be at the fastest in your hands is really difficult. And it was for me too. I think it would be for all of you when you're first practicing it. So if you do it over and over again, such that I would rest my hands for about a minute, and then you go back and try it again, with the increased perception that I wasn't exactly at the right ratio of opening and closing it, then I'd probably get a better performance. So I'm not going to take your time to do that performance right now, but I would tell you that that's the way I would approach it if I were going to get it to be a perfect closing and opening. The single stroke roll can be performed in various rhythms that also build your technique. I've written out a couple of them that I know helps because it's helped my students over the years. It's a very simple rhythm. It's an 8th note followed by 2 16th notes in single stroke style. So it sounds like this. That's kind of funny if you think about it. My mind was so caught up with the closing and opening of the single stroke roll that it just automatically popped in that articulation when I started that. That was pretty unconscious, I want to tell you. The counting that you can give to that 8th note and 2/16 notes would be, for my counting, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. If it was a measure of 4 of them, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Even if it were going faster, you could go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. It's amazing how a drum will make the same sounds that you're counting when you're performing. The other way that that could be played is to turn the figure around so that you have the 2/16 notes first, followed by the 8th note. The counting there would be 1dn, 2dn, 3dn, 4dn. I like to use what I call a explosive or a plosive consonant. So I put the D in front of the an counts. Instead of saying 1en, 2en, which I don't feel like has enough body to it in the articulation, I always say it 1dn, 2dn, 3dn, 4dn. I think that gives you more power and individualization of each stroke when you're performing it on the snare drum. So here's the sound of 2/16 notes and an 8th note in alternate stickings. There's a beat that I wrote many, many years ago called the mixer beat, and I'm going to have an image of that for you when this is put up on my YouTube channel. At this moment, I just want to perform it for you. I hope you enjoy it. And from here, I'm going to move on to the double stroke roll. Are you going to punch me out there, Tom?